The river is beginning to come to life as barges and tugs and sailboats begin doing their dance across its surface. On the eastern shore, a few fishermen begin casting lines. On the western, some early rising tourists snap pictures of the sunrise. Upon the horizon, a gaggle of geese fly from one pond to the next, their cries seeming to tell stories of heartache and pain. Their path through the sky is marred only by thin, wispy clouds, floating lazily along, oblivious to the sad, mournful tones of their weeping. The sky is a sapphire blue, illuminated by a jealous sun that chases away the few wayward clouds remaining from last night's storm. Looking up, the average passerby would never have guessed it had been split in two by lightning the night before. Birds begin singing for their breakfast, praising their Creator with thankful hearts and empty mouths. They know there will be food soon, whether from the hands of a tourist or from the ground. Their provider always meets their need. In the midst of this perfect day, I stand upon the edge of a momentous decision, one which has the ability to affect the course of my life irreparably. As I look out over the river, I mull over my choices. On the one side, I could rise above the problems at hand. They're merely bumps along the road of life, after all, merely opportunities to see better things arise. On the other hand, however, I could face facts. For the last 3 weeks, nothing at all has gone right. This isn't a bump in the road. I've lost my whole car down a sinkhole. The sun catches the glass in the buildings to my left, and I feel the warmth in one side of my body while the other stays cold. Cold as the evening before. Cold as the river. I stretch my arms one at a time, looking out at my watch in the process. Have I really been here 10 hours? Yes, it must be. I watched as the last of the lightning illustrated my inner being across the night sky. And now it's dawn. Darkest before dawn. That's the old saying. Well, here's the dawn. And my life is still pitch black. The only good thing about where things stand right now is that I haven't started digging through rock bottom yet. What could possibly have driven me to this point? Somewhere in the back of my conscious mind, a little voice has been questioning me all night. I wish it would just shut up so I can think. Adam, my best friend, wrecked my car. Actually, he put stop leak in the master cylinder, so I lost my brakes at 60 miles an hour. Nearly got killed on that one. I guess we aren't friends anymore. Well, I didn't just say that over the phone, it's beyond me. My girlfriend said no when I proposed. We've talked about the future, about kids, moving from here to there, finances, sex, the gambit. And then when I propose, suddenly Christine isn't interested in marriage. My second car blew a head gasket on the freeway. I missed a very important meeting because of it, and now, as a result, I'm unemployed. The last interview I had, the guy told me, off the record of course, that no one would touch me because of the economy, and the black mark my former boss put on my name. Topping it all off, my church hasn't seemed to notice that I'm conflicted, or even that I haven't been there the last 2 weeks. No calls, no letters, no one stopping by. They're all too busy listening to that supposed man of God telling them how to fill their wallets. The bridge shudders beneath my feet as I come back from my reverie. It's somewhat old, or so I'm told. They sectioned it off a few years ago, talking about revamping it for pedestrian use. Yet here it sits, rusting away. An imposing structure fallen to the wayside in the sight of thousands. I know how that feels. In an instant, I've made up my mind. I know how it's got to be. I'm going to die anyway, so what difference does it make if it's now or later? The water's nearly 100 feet below me, and if I do the numbers right, there's still an off chance that I'd survive. So it's not actually suicide, right? No, of course not. It's just jumping in for a swim, not realizing how high the bridge is. Stop, says the quiet little voice. There is a greater plan at work here. There always is. Has God ever let you down before? Now that you mention it, yes. In fact, he's been doing that a lot lately. Why hasn't he intervened? Held me in his hand, protected me. He said he'd be like a friend that's better than a brother, so where is he? The voice remains quiet for the first time. Standing there on the railing, I look down, thinking about things. Thinking about family, thinking about heartache, thinking about how I've lost everything now. The wind comes up suddenly, whipping the eviction notice from my hand and carrying it out over the water. I lose my balance, and in that instant, I know I'm not truly ready to die. If God needs more time to work things out, I'd gladly give it to him. Nevertheless, I'm falling forwards, twisting around to try and catch hold of something, anything. Nothing but air whistles through my fingers, and I know that unless God truly does intervene, and intervene now, I'll be able to ask him why he didn't in person. It occurs to me that I've stopped falling. My second thought is that there's no water around me. I am being carried. Did I survive the fall? Do I not remember the impact, and is this my rescuer? I open my eyes and look up into the kindest face I have ever seen. He looks down at me with eyes that are at once cutting and forgiving, like they see all, yet overlook everything. His mouth is moving, whispering something over me. Father, forgive him. He knows not what he does. The words are spoken in a strange tongue, and yet I hear them clearly. As I am placed back upon the bench on the bridge, revelation dawns. I am alive. I never hit the water. And this is no ordinary man. As the magnitude of what has just happened washes over me, I can feel my body begin to convulse with my sobbing. All this time, I thought he didn't care for me, and it was I who did not care for him. As I weep, I feel the tears are beginning to come from the very depths of my soul. My soul, so dirty, yet this Christ found it worth enough to save it. He sees more value in me than I see in myself. I can feel his arms around me, holding me, and the tears begin to pass. He holds me close in his arms and speaks gentle words of comfort and love. He is a shepherd holding a broken lamb, speaking to it so it recognizes his voice. Sometime later, I watch as a man walks up on the bridge, a letter crumpled in his hand. He looks out over the darkening sky, looks at his hand, then at the water below. I know what is going on in his mind. His wife has left him, or he got fired. He was thrown from his home, or his kid died. Whatever the case, I know that the river does not want to receive his body any more than he truly wants to give it. Excuse me. I must go be Christ to someone. It's a good, good, good world without Jesus Christ. It's a good, good, good